at the bridge on Poe now. Looks like it's down by Paradise. Heavy black smoke. PD, 55.
No, we're down around 18, guys.
As we're driving on an emergency call, there's a lot going on in our minds. What's going on? What do I need to do as the chief? Or whether the firefighters are thinking the same thing as they're driving the fire truck. What's the parking condition? Where's a fire hydrant? Just what are the conditions? There's 1,000 things going through our mind, as well as monitoring the radios. Usually the person riding in the officer seat or the passenger seat, they're looking up maps, trying to locate different things. And it's very stressful for us. And we look out ahead and we see cars not stopping. We've actually had them try to race us through to get to intersections or follow us through behind. And that makes us focus on them rather than on what we're supposed to be doing.
To verify there's no northbound traffic. Thank you.
Emergency driving is very stressful and difficult for the personnel. We're not only worrying about where we're going, what's happening, we're monitoring radios to determine what's going on at the incident before we get there. As police or EMS may arrive before us, they filter information back to us. And usually it could be that person's worst day of their life. It's routine for us, but for that person it's a catastrophe, whether it's a fire or a motor vehicle accident. And one thing that compounds it is traffic incidents. People kind of get their windows rolled up, they turn on their stereos, and they kind of forget what to do when they hear an emergency vehicle coming by. So I'd like to just remind everyone, when they got a red lights and siren, they need to slow down, pull over to the far right so we have access to get through. They need to know one day it's going to be them. Just a matter of statistics that at some point they're going to need the fire, police, or EMS. And where are they? Well, when we're driving much slower because of traffic incidents, it's going to take us longer to get there. Probably the one biggest things that I see right now are cell phones. People have their windows shut, they're on their cell phone, radio's up, they have no clue we're there, and it's kind of like a wild card. We have no idea what they're doing, so we are forced to slow down and sometimes come to a complete stop until we know we have that person's attention. When they make eye contact with us, then we know they realize we're there and we can proceed past them safely. Up until that point, we're kind of at their mercy, what they're going to do, until we know that they're aware of us and we see the brake lights or we make eye contact with them. And it tends to really slow down our response. A lot of people don't realize just the size of a fire truck. It's not like a regular delivery truck. We carry, every compartment is jammed full of equipment. We usually carry about 1,000 gallons of water, 2,000 to 3,000 feet of fire hose. So it's usually right at the legal limit of capacity to what it can carry. So we don't stop on a dime like a car will, or even a regular delivery truck can stop fairly quickly. Even at 35 miles an hour, we could have 100 foot or so stopping distance. So you see, if we're going faster and someone pulls out in front of us or driving erratically, it's going to really create things. So we tend to drive on the slower side just for safety concerns, because it's not a pickup truck that can stop quickly. There's a lot of mass there, and it takes a lot of time to get it slowed down to a safe speed or to a complete stop. Our trucks are so large, if we'd ever have an accident, whoever we hit is going to be on the losing end of it. So we're very, very cautious that way. Driving in a fire is always a tricky thing, and usually it's time, it's experience. Especially living in a community, you know which streets are crowded at what time of day. But then we get hazard or notices if there is a traffic hazard, and by hazard I mean there's road construction, a traffic light's out. So we get them every day, and we try to get them out to the stations. It gets up on their board, so when they're getting in their rigs, they can look on their whiteboard and say, okay, this road's blocked at this intersection. But bottom line, it's up to the guys and their experience, and usually with the officer riding with the firefighter, they can help direct them. It's an extra set of eyes to watch what's going on, and maneuver around and see which was the best route. One of the things I think the general public doesn't realize is that we are a totally volunteer fire department. Myself, I have a fire inspector and a public educator full-time. We're here 40 hours a week. After that, everyone's at home. They're volunteer firefighters. We work hard to train them and get them up to speed, but we rely on a paging system. When dispatch or 911 gets the call, they activate a set of tones that trip our pagers, and they tell us over the radio what incident we have, where we're going, and as much information as they can provide. At that point, they have to step out of their real lives and to put on their fireman's hat. Most of them are at home. Sometimes they may have to get cleaned up, put on something else. They might be in shorts, or they can't come to a fire in shorts. Get in their personal vehicles, drive as safely as they can to get to the fire station, and then they're putting on their gear here, getting into fire trucks, and responding to the emergency. Most full-time departments are just the opposite. The personnel are here 24 hours, 7 days a week. So when they get the call, they get up, put on their turnout gear, and they're in the trucks. So from the time we get to the alarm, or I should say the time they get to the station, to respond to the incident, it's pretty much the same as a full-time department. But we have a big lag time from the time we get the call to the time the personnel can get to the station. In the winter, high traffic times during periods of the day, it's terrible. I mean, they may get here in 3 minutes on a good day, it may be 8 or 10 minutes on a snowy day, or if it's a high traffic on a weekend, or that way they can't get to the stations. And that's the only way I've researched it, worked hard. The only way to improve our response time is to get staffing here. We do it during the day, between 7 and 3. We have a duty crew share with Medina Township, and that ensures us a 4-man engine company plus the staff personnel that are here. So we have initial response, and we've already proved statistically it's about a third less time to get there. Being a volunteer department, we're a little unique in this area. We have a separate EMS. Most full-time departments do fire-based EMS, so it's the same personnel doing both. Out here, we have a fire department. Medina Hospital provides life support team, and our police department. So we have 3 different agencies responding to car accidents, fire calls, anything that major, they all respond to. And we have the capabilities with our radios. We monitor each other's channels. So we hear initial reports, we hear updates. We kind of got an idea of what each person is doing. But everyone's there to support each other. If it's a fire call, LST and the police will check in with myself or whoever the senior officer is. What do you need? They'll ask that question. We need roads blocked, we help searches, we need medical personnel, and we just switch the hat like that. We play well together here. If LST, it's a motor vehicle accident, police will be obviously taking care of traffic control, fire department will get there. What do you need? Do you need extrication? Do you need extra hands to take care of patients? We did receive our own drug license here at the fire department, so we have a first responder program. So all of our men that are firemen or basic EMTs or paramedics can now work with LST. We're sanctioned under the hospital. We have our own equipment. So once we get there, we can help integrate with them and help mitigate the situations. But there's no egos here per se. Whoever has the primary responsibility of that incident, the other units are there to support them. As emergencies come in, we don't triage them or anything like that. Every emergency is the #1 priority for us as we get the call. So no matter who gets the call, nobody gets specialized treatment. We respond as rapidly and as safely as we can to every incident. Sometimes it seems like a long time when you're waiting for the help. Minutes tick away and they seem like hours. But to get there safely, if we're rushing and getting in an accident, we're not going to get there at all. And that just made another 15-minute delay for someone else to get there. So our personnel are going to drive safely, not to create another incident, and to get there to help mitigate your incident as quickly as possible. Seems like a lot of time. We pull the tapes. We've had it in the past. Geez, they took so long to get here. When you listen to the radio tapes, or a lot of them we videotape, we're here on scene. They just don't realize it. It seemed like 20 minutes. It was actually maybe 8 or 10 or 12 minutes. Just the anxiety, it takes time to get there, but people aren't used to having these types of emergencies. It could be a little kitchen or a little trash fire. it's nothing for the fire department. That's like pretty basic for us. But if it's happening in your house, your world is coming to an end. So it seems like forever for us to get there. But I assure you that all personnel respond as rapidly and as safely as we can to every incident that comes in to help our residents. We're always trying to improve our response time, and one of the critical parts is getting the personnel here. But once they get here, it usually goes fairly rapidly. We have a pair of bunker pants with boots, we have a protective hood, we have coats and helmets to put on before they even get into the trucks, and at that point they'll get into some of the air tanks and that. Usually once or twice a year, we have timing drills to get their gear on, and get the tank on, and get breathing air, to keep their skills up so they're getting dressed as quickly as possible. Probably our weakest point yet is getting the personnel to the station. Traffic, they're busy at home, they have to wash up, just the travel time because of whatever other incidents may slow them down, traffic lights. So that's our biggest hindrance right now, is getting the personnel to the station. Once they get there, it's pretty much like textbook work. They're dressed quickly and on board. We have a policy that we don't let a truck leave without 3 men on it minimum. And that's just a safety issue. When they get to the incident, they can mitigate the incident safely. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes for that third or fourth guy to get there, it takes some time. But once they get here, they move quite rapidly to get out the door.